So here we are with piece C6 from grade 8, the Allegro from the Sonatina by Lars-Eric Larsson. There's such a lot going on in this piece of music. Those of you studying it, I hope, like me, you can hear these wonderful chords where they have, which to me just sounds like old radio drama. And then I read about the gentleman, and he was a composer for Swedish radio in the 1920s. Anyway, let's look at the music. Long phrase to start. When we see long phrases, they've got to go somewhere. They don't just sort of peach out, and we want to take it right up to the top of the phrase, and as much as possible, using the fingering they suggest, we want to get a long legato and really long arm, bring the elbow round to help with the legato. So I must never sound notey or fingery. It doesn't matter how legato you think you're playing something. It's never as legato as if you exaggerate the arm movement. And I hate all this unnecessary arm movement, but I think in cases like this, it is necessary to show a little. It's a tricky phrase to show a little suspension, let the elbow help the fingers maintain the fluidity there, and same with the left hand. I'll do a little slower. There is no correct fingering, but could be nice. They suggest putting the thumb on the D, and it could be nice to put 2 there instead. Whatever you wish. Don't put 2, get it wrong, etc. Big stretches, and as I say in a lot of these pieces, you want to perform this for a new audience. As lovely as the music is, I don't think the world has heard of Lars-Eric Larsson, so you're presenting to the examiner in the room and to us listeners. You're saying, hey, check this piece of music out. So don't just throw away the opening phrase either. Don't be very, which you won't play it like that, but really show the intervals. That old cliche of mine. This sounds exaggerated. I'm going to play it slowly, but with all the ingredients and the showing of the intervals. And when we speed that up, that's all we need. A little show the opening. Ooh. You're sort of showing the peaks and troughs of the phrase. At the top of the phrase, down. Always, as I also like to say, patronize your audience. Not patronize, but show them what's happening. Slow note, okay, then the music's going up, it's going down again, then it's going up. I always think that whenever I play, even that, you've got to make it sound so fresh. And by I hope in fresh, I take my time going from the G down to the B, which to me sounds more musical than, than just like going through the notes. So show intervals. What else do we have? We have remember to bring out the upper voicings here. Not all of them, but we want to ascertain. That could be like a woodwind section. Then bring out more of the top line of each line towards the end of the phrase, I think, so it has variety. So equal voicing, more the top. Hear that in the left hand? A little bit of that. We've heard the harmony in the right hand. So for the second time, we can bring out the top line more. Never a hard sound here. Let's use the arm, weight, shoulder. Let the fingers relax, if anything. Never stiff in the key, just boom, keep it relaxed. Never a hard sound. Up to you whether you want to perhaps break that up with the pedal. It certainly needs some pedal there. Again, that's an unexpected harmony in a way. So a little time before that to show the accent. Get into the key, and I think this should anticipate, this should interrupt rather than new section, because we've got a lot of this. Now, they suggest 3 and 1 in the right hand, 3 and 5 in the left hand, which, in my opinion, remaining fingers in the left hand will just get in the way of your right hand. So I would 1 and 2, or 1 and 3 in each hand. And you can play it with both hands, or you could play it like I would prefer to do with just one hand. Separate hands, and keep the left hand going for that change of harmony there. And then you can play that gorgeous G7 altered chord for you jazzers among you. Anticipate, so we've gone. I mean there, see there's a third way of doing it. 1, 2, 3, 3 notes in the right hand, 1 in the left hand. Whatever's most comfortable, but keep it under the fingers, and I wouldn't I wouldn't cross over and get fingers in the way of the right hand. Even this bit could phrase, there's obviously repeated chords. What are we going to do with this phrase? We could show the old 3 times rule. There's one chord up there, there's a second one, and there's a third one. So show the third one in bar 19. First, second, third. And then there's I'd say a subito piano there for the that gorgeous chord. I think it's a very murky and sort of dark and sort of mysterious sort of part of the work here. So really into the key, show these rich sonorities in the left hand. And there's that, and sort of against the beat, I know the time signature changes all over the place here, but there are very few rests. I don't think there's one rest, is there? I mean, very like the odd quaver rest here and there. So it doesn't sound like the, there's a wonderful fluidity to it, but at the same time, the changing time signatures make us think agitation and where's it going and all that sort of thing. So we can use the changing time signatures to our advantage to show that, hence I've said anticipation, but we can also use it to take time. I think at the end of this, it's nice to start a new section there. Again, quite light this, we don't want it to be, we want to practice it like that, so we get all the notes very clear. And see how I'm always like my cats do when they do washing on the bed, like that sort of movement. You want to have a wonderful sort of depth and get into the key. Those of you with pussycats and perhaps dogs do this too. Just, you know, get into the note. Etc., etc. And crescendo, as it has marked, to be done not with the fingers but just with the pedal and more arm weight from back here, etc., etc. So that was all done from here, and it shouldn't. If we use the finger, it can start to sound all piercing and unpleasant, even on this lovely piano. So. And then should we have a break here? There's a semi-quaver rest. Whatever you do, either really clearly show it before coming down, or I would perhaps hold the pedal over to just keep it going. That's not breaking the pedal. Whatever you do, make one or the other there. Make it convincing. And it's going, there's a sforzando at the bottom of this phrase, so rather than thinking it's going to start loud and get softer because it's lower, I would crescendo to the bottom to show us much contrast with another lovely altered seventh chord. It's in contrast to that one, a couple of lines above. Here, we don't have the C in it, but so sit on that. Sit on it. Rest. Relax the shoulders. Really relax the hand. And when and this phrase, when you're holding the thumb down, see how my fingers are sliding around, enjoying the music. Really, this sort of languid. I'm playing with intentionally sort of flat fingers, and for me, if I play it with curved fingers, that works. But here's a chance that it's fun to, whenever we have music where you get to play with not the tips of the fingers or not the top sort of joint of the fingers. So. Especially my third finger. Now here, again, fingering wise, I thought it'd be nice to play those two notes with the thumb of the right hand, which some of you might be doing, but I would, if you can hear the difference in the sound. If I use 1 and 2 in the right hand there, whilst holding the C down, if your hands should be, if they're big enough, then we get more here, that mean hear more definition. And then we're back to the wonderful chords. And it's the first time the left hand's had the melody on its own, the sort of main country phrase. Really enjoy the contrast there. And then this quite tricky octave passage to get it as legato as possible. I'm getting around the note as much as I can, round the notes. See, my elbow comes round, and I'm staggering the pedal. I'm doing fluttering, doing that with my right foot. And we don't want the notes to blur. And even though I go phrase it as well to there, even though it's part of a decrescendo. And I think this has to be quite blurry and pedally, and bring up the pedal to show the definition towards the bottom. Oops. Yes, here they're asking you to play those two notes with the thumb. With full pedal or very little pedal, I think. They stay staccato. I do want to sort of phrase that somehow. So tempting to, here we are, we have a long way to go. We have a forte at the beginning of bar 51, crescendo marked at 55, and going to fortissimo bar 60. So, and we've got a, I think when I just played it then, I was too loud at 55. We want to keep the forte under control. If anything, come down a little bit towards the end of that line. So, perhaps start a long way to go. Remember these octaves out here, nice and loose. Get into the note and out again. Bounce out of the note. You should see the fingerprints on my piano. Very loose, but with clarity. So I'm not playing it in time. So lean, enjoy using a bit of body, upper body weight into the note. Boom, boom. Never a hard sound. Same phrase in the middle, but we're going to show this. Go towards the A flat and let it ring over. Here, separate hands or whatever you wish. Not such a subito piano. It says mezzo forte. And I think we can really enjoy this. And notice how I'm not playing. What am I doing? I'm not playing the notes totally together. It's that. Hear the difference? When you speed that up, it comes out. That's a personal preference. I happen to like not playing chords together. It's I don't know. It shows more a little looser at the edges, isn't it? Adds to the character, I think. I put a little sort of ritardando at the end of this phrase. Find out where it's going. We've heard that phrase before, so and you're quite low down on the sonor in the key and on the piano, so now it's got to be a question of where's it going to go now. I'd even add the left pedal, the una corda, and try and diminuendo through that phrase. I know that's the same note, but in the music it says C natural, and for the first time in a B sharp. So how do we show that those are two different notes on the piano, which they're not, but in the music it's saying that's a B sharp now, so we want to add a little more push from the arm into that note. So we've had the C natural, here we are beginning of bar 67, something like that. Bit more threatening. Oops. show that line at the top, and again fluttering the pedal here. I'm keeping it quite quite sort of free. I'm not thinking 3/8 for 2 bars, 4/8. It just carries you along, like some wonderful Puccini operas. They do that. Time signature goes all over the place, but you'd never know that listening to it. So here we are again. We've heard this before. Not too harsh a sound. We are on the outs. Great, wonderful 3-4 octaves between these notes. So we want to imagine it's written thick, almost like that, but it doesn't say that. But we want to have that solidness and awareness of a symphonic orchestra playing. This is the big finale passage, as it were. And then in the diminuendo. And how do we do diminuendo on the piano? With our hands outstretched like this, and we want to push quicker into the key to get tone out of the piano, push quicker into the notes rather than when it's louder, where we can afford to push slower into the notes. Little thing that works. So here we are, grandioso, contrast with the pianissimo. And you see how I'm curving the arm all the time to show the legato, and I'm pushing quicker into the key. Don't let the tone disappear. Obviously this is purely practice stuff I'm showing you here, but when you come to put the polish on it, oops, play the right notes. And we don't want to lose the tone. I would separate the right hand here. Let it always ping, ring, especially this register of the piano. And then almost a little pause there, I would say. Poco rid. And then there we are with the ending. Keep it clear, pesante, heavy. Enjoy putting shoulder weight into this. And really hear how I just, oops, throw my whole, loose but titanium tipped here. And I'm out of the key. I'm not into it. You don't want it to. Don't want to be too loud. You want to grade it with that. That's too quiet, but change. So you're going to bubble, pedal, change pedal, pedal down, boom. Big gesture, whoosh, or whatever you want to do. There we are. I hope you enjoyed that.